Good afternoon and welcome to part 2 of EdTech Hall Presents Google Sites. Now, of course, this is for teachers, so if you are not a teacher, this probably won't apply to you. However, if you do have a Google account, even if it's a personal Google account, you do have access to creating a Google site. But for the purposes of this webinar, which is sponsored by EdTech Hall, this is for teachers. So who are we and what can we do to help? EdTech Hall is a company created just for teachers to help teachers to maximize their student learning in the classroom. And since it's educational technology, it's done through the technology piece. And I realize that as teachers, nothing can replace us being in the classroom. But technology can be infused in many different aspects, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about today. So yesterday, we did a deep dive through the Google Sites and all of the features, and I just want to review that with you today. And then we're going to talk about all the types of website possibilities. They're just endless. Just like Google Slides, it's endless. Google Docs, it's endless. Google Sites is also endless. But you want to make sure that you choose the one that's best for your class, for your student makeup, and of course for your parents. And then create a new site together. You're going to create an additional one today, and you're going to publish both of them. All right. So the first thing before we move on is this is being recorded, and it will be downloaded and posted on the YouTube channel. So if you go to EdTech Hall, you type in EdTech Hall, this is my YouTube channel, and you can see that Google Sites Part 1 has already been uploaded. So if you have the time and if you like hearing my voice and seeing my lovely face, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, EdTech Hall. We appreciate it. All right, so I want to move to Google Sites, and I want to talk about what we did yesterday, and then we're going to talk about publishing and how you can send this out to your students. So yesterday we walked through creating a back-to-school website, and we talked about creating the banner, and you can always change your image, upload it, and there are some images that you can choose. All right. I don't know if we talked about this yesterday, but there is an adjustment piece here. So if you do choose a picture of your own, like this Bitmoji scene was mine, there is, so that you can see the banner here, which I removed, but let's say I kept that there, you'd be able to see it, all right? And where we're working is it within the G Suite. So you can see here when I toggle over, this is my Google account, this is my school Google account. So this is for my students. All right, we talked about layouts yesterday where you can have a picture and caption or writing. You can have 4, you can have 3, you can have just 3 pictures, you can have 2 pictures with captions, and of course you can have the side captions here. You can also insert any of these things. And we talked about the divider yesterday, which I'm going to go through a little bit more today. YouTube, docs, slides, sheets, forms, and charts, all of which you can insert, which is we're on the insert tab, into your Google site. Okay. And you notice here, we have a Bitmoji. So this was the picture and text format. Then this is the bio and the supply list. And we talked about embedding, and this is an embedded document, okay? So if we were to go to the live site, and let's say that I'm a student or a parent, I click and it says supply list for 5th grade is ready, click the Bitmoji to download a copy. And of course, this is the forced copy. Now I'm gonna delete this because I already have a copy of it. And we can talk about that in another video of how to force copy something so that the students are actually not collaborating on something that you are working on. That's a good thing to focus on. And you'll notice I'm toggling between the live site and the editable site, okay? Because we're going to publish this today. We're going to publish your site today. We talked about creating pages, right? And the maximum I would say would be 5 pages for a back to school. And we did talk about themes here. Okay, now in the insert, you can also, if you don't want to choose a layout, you can also just choose a text box, an image, import from your drive, or embed a particular link. All right. Now, if you had a business, you could also add your logo, or if you were doing a school sponsored Google site, like let's say you did it as like a team or the whole school and you were responsible for that, your school logo would then go on there. All right, so let's take a look at what we've created. And of course, this is my original one that I created. The one that we created yesterday, I kind of played around with this a little bit yesterday just to get you going on what you're doing. So I'm actually not gonna publish this, okay? But I wanna show you how to publish your site. So right now, you're here, and this is gray because it is not published, okay? When you click on this publish button, and I'm gonna go to this, all right? Once you have it published, you have some different options here, but when you publish today, you're just gonna click the button and it's gonna publish it, which makes it live. And then this is going to turn black. And what that means is you can copy that published link, copy that link, and then you can paste it, and I'm going to show you what I did. You can paste it, right? Press enter, and now this is the actual website that the parents will see, that the students will see. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. When you're doing Google Sites, you cannot force copy a Google site. So somebody cannot take yours and then expand upon theirs, all right? So when I posted it, I wanted everybody just to kind of look at it, and then I would walk everybody through it. All right. If you want somebody to collaborate with you, like an educator to collab with you, there is a piece that we can put that there. Okay. But this is what your site is going to look like live. So I'd like everybody right now to do that and publish it. And I'll just wait a second. And I want you to copy the link and then paste it. And I want you to take a look at what your site looks like, because now you can take a look at it and say, wait, maybe I don't like that. All right, because then we're going to go back to how you can edit it further. So I'm going to give you a minute to work on that. So publish, copy the link, paste the link, and place it in a live setting. So go ahead and do that. All right. So I know that you're probably just as amazed as I was when you first see your website and you're like, oh my God, it's going live. It's really cool. So a couple of things to keep in mind. Your site is not searchable on Google. So if you type in back to school in Google, so let's just do it, back to school, Google site, right? It's not going to come up here. All right. The reason why that is because it's under the education domain, and therefore only people that have the link can access that link. So that's one of the features of the Google Suite education piece. So your district has control over that website. So nobody can mess with it outside of your educational domain, which is a very good safety feature. All right. And of course, like we talked about yesterday, you're not selling anything. This isn't a business. This is your classroom. So it's within that educational sphere. Okay. All right. Now I did make a couple of changes on here and I was playing around with this yesterday, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So let's say I go back and I make a couple of changes. I can always publish it. I can review changes and publish, and this will show me what I changed, right? So take a look at what's currently published, right? See, this was kind of cut off a little bit, and then I fixed it. Now I'm happy with it. I click publish again. Now, the most recent version is now published, but you'll notice it didn't automatically do this. All you have to go and do is click refresh, and it is now fixed. Okay, so don't think that once you publish it, that's it. I can change this every day if I want, which I wouldn't recommend doing because that's just a lot of work. And of course, my goal is to make your life easier, not more complicated. All right, and we talked about importing these docs yesterday, and I want to show you another feature today, and that is the placeholder or the divider, not the placeholder, the divider. Now, why I like to put the divider, especially on a page like this, is there's a lot of text, and sometimes parents and students, when they're scrolling through, they're looking to see when it ends, okay? And so you have the homework policy, boom, there's the divider, go down to the grading policy, and you're done. All right? Now, I'm going to click publish it, and I want to show you what that looks like on the live piece. So if I go to classroom policies, so here's the homework policy, and you see how it ends nicely now? That's what you want. You want something clean that parents are going to be able to look at, read, understand, and move on. Right? They don't need to be spending, students and parents don't need to be spending all day on this, and neither do you. Okay. So let's go back to our site here. Okay, let's go to our classwork and homework. Now, each week a slideshow will be uploaded below of tasks for the week. Now, there is a lot on social media and all the Pinterest and YouTube and everything, and like I always say, there's a lot of noise in ed tech. There's so many things. But you can create a simple Google slide with the daily assignments. And I'm just going to show you what I did last year. Okay, so I have a homeroom and I have an ELA class. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to, I want to get the same month. So this was May 15th. Okay, so here's my daily remote learning plan for May 18th. Okay. Now you'll notice here that it has a little share button with the live link piece. That's what it looks like when it's completed, right? So anyone on the internet with this link can view. Copy the link. Okay. Now, let's go in here. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. The simplest way is to take the slides, click on Insert, and this loads up the entire slideshow. And I'm just going to show you Okay, so here is the slideshow. Now, parents and students can click on this and they can navigate through, and they're not going to be able to alter what you did. Now, you can also embed a picture and embed the link inside the picture. So this is going to be super fun. Ready? So let's go to images, and we're going to upload. Now I'm going to go into photo backgrounds, and I'm going to pick the coffee mug with the heart Bitmoji. Now, as long as you save your Bitmoji as a photo, you're able to do this. So you can't just click, you know how you can click this and drag it? It's not going to work for embedding the link. All right. So what you want to do, and you have options here. We can crop it, we can uncrop it, we can insert the link, which is what we're going to do. We can delete it, and then we can also replace it, add alternate text, add a caption, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it, and we're going to insert the link. And you'll notice that it says edit here with the Google Slides, because that was what we copied and pasted. We're going to put copy, okay, and apply. Now what that means is I'm forcing the students or the parent, when they click on this on the live site, right, it's going to send them to a copy of the slideshow, which means that they're not going to be able to go into these assignments and change the assignments. And of course, that's one of the things that students will try to do, right? We all know that they try to do that. All right. So I'm going to go back here. Okay. So again, now I can always edit the link. Like, let's say I messed up. I can go back in here, delete it, Command V, and put it in there. Now remember, you don't want the students to edit. So you want to make sure that you change that last piece there from edit to copy and then apply. Okay. Now, like with anything else, students need directions. So what we're going to do is we're going to resize this and see how it's over here. We're going to move it here. And now it's text, and I want to make it like a heading. Click on the Bitmoji to the left to access your weekly tasks. Please follow directions and enjoy. My students always found that kind of funny that I was like, enjoy, because I always made it like, you know, it was a fun thing, but that's just me. Okay. So we could resize this. We could play with this a little bit. We can move this closer. All right. If you don't want to say click on the left, you could always go underneath. Click on the Bitmoji to access your weekly tasks. Now, I will say this before we publish this and make it go live. The parents appreciated the weekly tasks. Okay. And I'll talk about what that Google slideshow looks like in another video. But so you want to make sure that the students understand their tasks and the parents understand their tasks. This is especially true for distance learning. When we get back to regular in-person learning, it's not as pertinent for the parents, but it would be a good idea, especially if you teach in a Title I school like I do, for the parents to embrace, okay, this is what we're doing. And so they could kind of monitor at home, hey, listen, Ms. Temprano said you have this assignment, did you complete it? So there's a double piece there. Okay, so I want to publish this and make this go live so that we can see what it looks like. So let's publish this. Let's go back to the back to school. Now I want to go to class and homework because that's what we updated, and scroll down. So now you can see the difference between inserting the Google Slides and clicking on the Bitmoji. And I'm going to do both because I want you to see what it looks like. So remember, this is embedded, so they can click through here, but they cannot change anything. However, they do have access to all of the links. So if you put a link in your slideshow, right, they will be able to access that information. And of course, that was center work. Right, and you can click through this, and parents and students can go to a specific slide just like before, or they can slide through and they can click play, or they can click each individual slide as they go. Okay. Now, I personally, it depends on what I'm doing. I think for the weekly tasks, this is better than this, but I want to show you both just in case you're like, oh no, I prefer if they just click on the picture and then there's, they go on their own. So here's my little cute Bitmoji with the coffee, which by the way, I love. Click on the Bitmoji to access your weekly tasks. And if you toggle over it, it shows you that there's a link here. Okay, so click. And now this is a forced copy of the same slideshow. And of course, I'm not clicking on it because then I'll end up with 60 copies of the same thing. And then of course, please follow directions and enjoy. Okay, you can even have them copy it and then paste it. All right, so like I said, it's your option of what you would prefer to do. I think this is better just personally on a personal note, but I did do some of this. So I would have something, I would say, oh, you have to click on this. And I think that's good for students to understand that you can click on things and things will open up. Okay. I want to go back to pages. Okay. So we went through publishing your site. We went through embedding the classwork and the homework. We went through the expectations and the back to school night presentation. I don't know why this isn't loading. Oh, there it is. Okay. We went through the communication, which is Class Dojo. Now, I know that there are a couple of different sites out there that offer similar features. Feel free to use that here in your communication. And the reason I say that is I have been doing this long enough, and I have a lot of friends that are also teachers and parents, and I have friends that are parents and not necessarily teachers. And one of the things they point to often is the communication, that they don't understand the work, they don't understand the assignment, they don't understand what the students are supposed to be doing. And then you have the child that's sitting at home that may not have been paying attention. They come home and now they're having an argument with their child. So Class Dojo is a great way to do this. And I will make another video about Class Dojo at some point and how great it is. But you want to have this communication page. That is really important. And of course, you want to have a home page, and that's automatic. And you want to put your biography, and you want to put your supply list. So those are the main pieces. Okay, so what I want you to do right now is go to your classwork and homework, and I want you to find something that you have already created that you know for the first week of school, or if you haven't created that, think of something that you did last year, and I want you to post that into your classwork and homework, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that. All right. So as you're finishing up with that, and of course you can come back to this video and work on that. But what I wanted to show you is another tool that you can use your websites for. So you can actually create several different websites, and you only need to use the link or copy the link when it's needed. Okay. So I'm an ELA teacher, and one of the things I absolutely love to do is book tastings. And when we went virtual, I was in such a state of panic, and I kept thinking, how am I going to do this? And so the Bitmoji craze scene, there's a whole Facebook group on it. It's fantastic. They are just wonderful. So I kind of got the idea that I could set up something, a scene, where the students could self-pace and click on books and read books. And so I created and used, now Starbucks is not mine. That was something I bought from Teachers Pay Teachers, but I added the little welcome here, and I added these little cups. And this slideshow is embedded, right? And this is their book tasting. So the students, I uploaded a video first, which explains how to do it. And of course, I embedded this, right? And then this is the actual book tasting. And what I did was I also had a virtual class where I set it up and I explained it, and then I pushed out the video on the website so that the students could listen to my voice and follow the directions and then do the book tasting. Okay. Now I'm just going to show you, because I want to show you what it looks like live. So again, here's that break in the page, and then here's the slideshow. And again, I did not create this part. This is the part that I created. Now, when I toggle over, you can see that if the cursor is there, there's nothing for them to link on, right? It would just go to the next page. But the books that are on the shelves and that are on the table, and I linked it up to Epic. So as long as you have Epic, you'll have access to it. And of course, all my students were linked up to Epic. You click on it and it takes you to the book. Now, if you don't know about a book tasting, it's about 10 to 12 minutes for each book. And then they record their thoughts of whether they want to actually finish the book. Now, you can create an entire website just for your book tasting. Okay. You can create a website for a book report. You can create a website that has everything that you'll need for the entire year, which is kind of what I did last year. This year, I'm going to be breaking it up. I want a back to school one. I want book reports. And then the book tastings will be separate. Okay. So those are all the different types of websites that you can create. And I will be uploading some more videos on all the different types of websites. For example, you can create project-based learning projects and post them as a website so that the students and the parents could scroll through and see. So one of the ways that I did that was the state report. And I want to okay. So 5th grade is the year where they're doing a state report. And so this entire page is dedicated to that. But if you take a look at all these different parts, each one of these could be a different page. And you could create a whole website just dedicated to that particular project. Okay. Now, if you'll notice, I'm hiding, and this is another feature, that you can hide from navigation. So when you go on here, it is not here because that's a 4th marking period assignment. So the students are not gonna be able to see that until you assign it, right? So that's another feature, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give you a few minutes. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'm gonna give you a few minutes and then I'm gonna come back and close out this webinar. And I'll show you the tea party that we did with my students as well. So I'm gonna stop the recording in just a moment and go ahead and play. All right, I hope you had fun playing. And there's one last thing I want to show you, and that is the tea party. So at the end of the year, we had a tea party, and what I did was I created a Bitmoji scene, and then when you clicked on the slideshow, it popped up as a Zoom link, and then we all kind of like had a tea party together, and we talked about our books, and it was really cool. So there are so many different things you can do with these websites. I hope this was informative. And I hope if you like any of my slideshows, I will have them in my Teachers Pay Teachers. So if you go to, I'm just going to, so the name of my company is EdTech Hall. And I have a YouTube channel, I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook. Please feel free and don't forget to like all of those things. One thing that we haven't talked about today, and that's going to be coming up next, I will be having a video, is the educational workflow. It's the learning journey that students, teachers, and parents will enjoy. It's $20 for the 2-hour training, 1 hour per day, and that's coming up in August. But I will have some free YouTube videos of little things from that. It is a simple way to teach virtually where you do not have to create double work, and it's a simple way to engage students at home regardless of grade level or capability. So that is all for today. I hope this was informative, and please don't forget to like my Facebook, my Instagram, and my YouTube channel.